Hello there, I'm Lloyd Evans. Welcome to The Bunker. It's time for another voicemail. Today's voicemail is from an anonymous caller. Let's listen to what they have to say.
Hey Lloyd, I am an elder from a congregation in the United States. First of all, let me say I really enjoy your work and your videos. My question for you is, I have to do baptism questions for two non-adult in their teens children, and I don't believe in any of this anymore, and I just can't see myself helping other people get into this terrible religion. But my question is really, should I just go ahead and do these questions and fail these kids to keep them out of the religion and then quit? Or should I just quit being an elder and just let some other elder do it? But my problem with that is I know that if another elder does it, they're going to pass them and these children are going to get baptized. I really dislike being a witness. But due to my circumstances, I can't give up the privilege, and I say that loosely right now. Anyways, you can go ahead and use this on your channel. I love all your work, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks, buddy.
Well, thank you very much indeed. That's a very interesting message. At this point, I have received a number of voicemails from both PIMO elders and PIMO servants. PIMO meaning PIMO, physically in, mentally out. It's a situation that I don't envy. I can fully imagine that it would be very disturbing and unsettling to wake up to the fact that you're in a cult, but be in a position where you are surrounded by expectation. And there is no easy exit. There's no easy way of just disengaging from the whole thing and holding on to relationships that are valuable to you. I'm assuming that's what you mean when you say that you can't give up the privilege due to circumstances. It's difficult to imagine what circumstances there could possibly be that would keep you in that situation other than wanting to maintain relationships. So as to what you should do, feels like you're kind of answering your own question. Yes, if you don't pass these two teenagers through their baptism questions, and it might be worth mentioning for those who don't know what baptism questions are. So before any Jehovah's Witness gets baptized, they're supposed to go through a set of questions that are defined for them in one of the publications. Bear with me one moment. It's this book, the Organized to Do Jehovah's Will book. This contains a number of questions towards the back that any prospective Jehovah's Witness must answer satisfactorily. And it's basically an exercise by which someone parrots Jehovah's Witness beliefs so that there can be no confusion. Because they don't want just anyone becoming a Jehovah's Witness, even people whose beliefs are polar opposite to what they teach. They make people parrot the beliefs before they are willing to baptize them. And in this case, it sounds like there are two minors who want to go through this process in order to become Jehovah's Witnesses. I did the same thing as a minor because I got baptized at the age of 11. If you don't do these questions, someone else will, as you point out, and they're going to get baptized. It's really just a formality. I think the larger question you need to be asking is, how sustainable is your situation in terms of your mental health? So you're coming up against this particular situation of going through baptism questions with two kids who are probably committed to becoming Jehovah's Witnesses anyway. And regardless of whether you are in the equation or not, they will be Jehovah's Witnesses because probably their parents are pushing them towards being Jehovah's Witnesses. How sustainable is it for you to be faced by situations not just like this, but perhaps even more stressful than this? Let's say situations where you're in a judicial committee and someone is about to be disfellowshipped for a trivial reason, and you know that the upshot of this disfellowshipping is that they'll be ostracized and they'll be put in a far worse situation, or something far worse will be done to them through the shunning than they have possibly done to anyone. You know, let's say they had consenting sex with a consenting adult. Shunning someone for having a sexual relationship with a consenting adult is far, far worse than sex between two consenting adults. And by continuing as an elder, you're going to be in that situation time and time and time and time again. And you know that when you're on judicial committees, there can be no disagreement. So if the other two elders on the committee want to disfellowship and you don't want to disfellowship, you just have to toe the line. You have to go along with what they expect. That would be a more pressing problem for me to be grappling with than arguably the one that you're facing in this particular scenario. And I just think you need to be asking, you know, is it worth it? And that's something only you can answer. Is it worth constantly being faced with these situations? Albeit in some cases you'll probably be able to wriggle your way out of them. I can imagine wriggling yourself out of a judicial committee or what have you. But that's going to take its toll, isn't it? As the years tick by, wouldn't it be better to be thinking in terms of some kind of exit strategy? So ultimately, I think the question you need to ask yourself is, do I want to be in this situation for the next 20 years? Do I still want to be facing these situations 20 years from now? If the answer is yes, then fine. There isn't really anything for me to add or for me to help you with. If the answer is no, I can't see myself facing these situations week in, week out, or month in, month out for decades. What you need to be thinking about is, how can I recalibrate my life so that it works for me? Rather than me running around worrying about what other people think of me to the point where I'm miserable, why don't I spend my finite period of time on this planet being happy? Why waste this precious life that I have being miserable or making other people miserable just to live up to people's expectations? So I don't envy your dilemma. It's a tough dilemma. Only you will know to what extent your situation is sustainable or whether you really need to do something about your situation. But hopefully just by talking you through this, it's at least helped to get those cogs turning and it helps you to think in a more solution-oriented way. Because I'm not sure capitulation to your situation is sustainable, especially if you're going to be repeatedly in situations where you need to either make people miserable or, in this instance, put people on a path that you know is going to be deleterious to them, is going to be detrimental to their well-being. So hopefully I've helped you in some way. As always, the usual disclaimers: I'm not a licensed therapist. If you're struggling with your mental health, always seek the advice of a professional. But it's worthwhile talking about these issues, and I might say I think it's important to be able to broadcast messages like yours, and I think you're very brave for leaving your message, because just by leaving your message, you and other PIMO elders are showing that there is a problem. How can the organization brag about having 8.5 million followers when I'm even getting calls from the elders saying, I no longer believe? It's a captive organization, and that's evident just by the number of calls like this that I'm getting. So thank you so much for your message. If you would like to leave a voicemail, the thing to do is go to speakpipe.com/Cedars, remembering to indicate clearly if you don't want me to play your message on my channel. But that's all I have time for. Please do subscribe to the Lloyd Evans channel for more such videos. And as always, thank you for watching.